Hello everyone, good afternoon, happy Sunday. We're back again at the AI screen, PDMP, Take an AI Talk. Today we'll be rounding off, hopefully we'll be rounding off our Excel classes. We've had three sections in Excel and four sections in total with our trainer for this afternoon, Miss Uchechukwu Loretta. It's good to have you back. She's a data engineer. Ms. Uchechukwu, you have the floor.
Okay, that's welcome back. So just give me a minute to share my screen. Okay, please confirm that you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
Hello?
I can see your screen now.
Okay. So we'll just start for today. So this is the last class of our Excel class, right? And we're going to be concluding with advanced functions, dashboarding. And when I talk about dashboarding, I talk about charts, pivot table, how to create a dashboard, and data storytelling. So these are the four basic things we cover today. So we'll quickly go into it. The data set we are using is the one that the tutor for the XPSS class used. So I had to get it from her because it's a health related data set so that we would work with it, then use it to demonstrate a lot of things, right? What I did was to add an extra column here. The data set, if you have it, you probably do not have this part, this doctor's part, consultation department. So I want to clear what I have here. Sorry, just give me a minute. I'm really sorry. I have to handle something. Just I would like for 2 minutes. Okay, sorry about that. Let's quickly go into it. Meanwhile, before we start, um, if there is question from previous classes, maybe you should ask them, or do we go ahead? You don't have questions. I have. Before we start, I have questions because I know that we give ourselves assignments, right? Many of us were able to do it. Nobody's speaking. Many of us were able to attend to the assignment. Nobody. Wow, that's not nice. So how do I know that what we are doing is relevant to us? Or we are just here to play? Meanwhile, okay, no problem. Let's just go on. In this data set, I believe that this is not the first time seeing it, so you probably have seen the data set. Can anybody tell me the primary key we have in this data set? Primary key.
Okay, I think it's the patient ID. Okay, meanwhile, I did the assignment. Just that I can't even remember what is inside, but I did my assignment.
Okay, that's nice. Yes, and you're correct. The patient ID but starts to be unique for each of the patients. If there's any duplicate, then it's probably data entry error. So another thing I did was to add another sheet. Another sheet for the doctor's table, so that we would have a metadata about the doctor, whereby there is department, there is doctor, and there's consultation fee. So why I put this up is that I want to use it to demonstrate the lookup functions. I want to use it to demonstrate the lookup functions. So the essence of lookup functions is that in real life, you're working with multiple data sets, and there will be a database that contains everything you have. Then there will be another database that contains some of the things you need that are not in the main one you're working with. So what do you do? Do you start typing those things into the main data set you're working with? No. You will just use lookup function to carry those part of data set you need into the main one that you're working with, right? And that's what we want to demonstrate. So we're demonstrating two main lookup functions, the VLOOKUP and the XLOOKUP. And to do that, both of them have their use cases. XLOOKUP is the most preferable of them. Like today, you know that as time progresses, they bring up things that solve limitations of what was already existing. So let's start with VLOOKUP, so that when we do XLOOKUP, you understand how it solves the limitations of VLOOKUP. So the formula is just VLOOKUP. If you're typing it, comes out. I'll double click on this part, come here, this fx, start function, and then it opens. So you have like 4 variables to input. What are you looking up? Where are you getting what you're looking up from? What should you return? And what is the range? So now I want to look up doctor because I want to see the consultation fee for each doctor. Remember, you're getting it from here. You're getting it from here. But I don't want to type it because there are so many things here. Like the data set you have is so much that if I start typing it to be too much. So just quickly look up and then fill down, right? Yes. So first of all, what I want to look up, the value I want to look up is this value. I'll pick it. Then I'll come here, the table array. Where do I want to pick it up from? We'll come to doctors. Now, VLOOKUP has a strict thing where it says that the lookup value has to be from the leftmost column. That's your first column. If you come here, this thing is doctor. Now, this doctor, which is the reference point, has to be in the leftmost part of this sheet. If not, it will not work. We're going to do it like this now, so that you see that it will not work. So I will do it like this. Then, what do I want to return? I want to return consultation fee. So consultation fee is the 3rd column here. So I'll put 3. I'll put 3. And then lookup range. Do you want exact match or something that is close to it? You want exact match, so you use 0. And then I'll click OK. To give you any. Why is it giving you any? Because of the limitation I just showed us. Whatever you are doing, the reference column or the reference point has to be the leftmost part of your lookup array. So we'll just delete it and do again so that we correct the wrong that we were doing before. So when I double click, I'll come to this fx again. My lookup value is to this Dr. Ahmed. Lookup table array is from here. So now, because I'm taking consultation fee, I can just take from here to here. So if I take from doctor's consultation fee, you can see that between B and C, B is the leftmost column here. We didn't pick this one. So it started counting from 1, 2. So now it will work. Now, we want consultation, the consultation fee. So it's in column 2 of this range that we picked, 1, 2. So I'll just put 2. Then look up exact match. Then tells us that if you want to see Dr. Ahmed, it's 30,000 and it's in Naira. If you come here, Dr. Ahmed is 30,000 Naira. So you see that it worked because the reference column is the leftmost part. So what do you do now? You double click here and it fills down for you. Remember? So remember what we said about the different copy and paste options. So I'll copy it and I'll paste as value so that we remove the formula. So that we remove the formula beneath it. Then we'll do the same for this department. We still use VLOOKUP. Then after that, we'll use XLOOKUP to still fill the same thing, just so you see their differences. So to practice again, we want department, right? So what I will do is what I will do is to copy this, cut it, and put it so that it will be the leftmost part. So that when we want to pick here, Doctor will remain the leftmost part of the data set. So I'll still come back, VLOOKUP, go to FX. The lookup value is still Doctor. The table array, you come here, pick these two. Even if you pick from here, no problem. Then where do you want to return value? You want to return department. Our department is column 2 in this range, right? So we just put 2. We want exact match 0. Hit enter. It returns that Dr. Ahmed is in neurology department. We fill down, then copy, and we paste as value. Now it has removed the value beneath it, the formula beneath it, and this is what we want. So like this, you can continue our analysis, right? Did we get the VLOOKUP and VLOOKUP demonstration? Any question? Is it hard? It's actually
I have a question.
okay.
Okay, my question is this: is it that this VLOOKUP is more like you want to include departments column in a particular data set, but then
Yes.
you'll have that you already have it in another data set that you are
Yes.
comparing both sides. Is that
Yeah.
actually what the VLOOKUP is?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So now what you are, remember, they have to have a reference point. In this place, doctors is reference point. You cannot use this thing as a reference point because there is nothing they have in common between showed up. Showed up is not part of these columns of this particular sheet. They have to have something in common that you are referencing to. In our case, is the doctors. I don't know if you understand. If you don't have things in common, where did you want them to start looking? What do you want it to reference to and give you what your desired output? So they have to have a reference point, number 1. Number 2, what are the reference point in this part, in the one you're looking up from, has to be in the leftmost part of the sheet, the first column, else it will not work for VLOOKUP. Now that's the limitation that Microsoft people have found, and then they decided to come up with XLOOKUP. With XLOOKUP, the reference column can be anywhere and to still deliver your answer for you. That's what XLOOKUP does for you. So let's cut this.
Sorry, ma'am. One more question.
Okay.
Why don't we copy these values to the data, that healthcare data set instead of the VLOOKUP this thing we're using.
Sorry, come again.
I said, why don't you copy those values like that doctor and this? Why don't you copy it to the healthcare data set than using the VLOOKUP? I don't know if you understood my question.
Yes, I did. I think I mentioned why we should not do that. If we want to do it, you have up to 109,000, 106,989 rows of data sets. Do you want to start inputting the data that those things one by one? And it's not that they are arranged though. They are scattered. Dr. Ahmed, 30,000. Dr. James, 25. Next one is Dr. Rose, 15,000. It's going to be very tedious to copy them and putting it here. It will not match the their respective prices. It might scatter. You might make mistake because data set is too much. I think this VLOOKUP, the place I'm working now, like when we're using Excel, is the most. In fact, if you can use VLOOKUP, you can do 90% of the work because you deal with millions of data set that for you to get things correctly, you just have to VLOOKUP things and don't do it manually. If you do it manually, you are likely to make mistake. If we say let us come here now, check Dr. James is 25,000. We'll start looking for everywhere that Dr. James is. Maybe we can now start using if function. Maybe we can use if function and say equal to if open bracket if value if this is equal to Dr. Ahmed do 30,000 comma else this. Do you get nested if just like we did the last time? That's another way of doing it, but it's tedious. So the best thing to do is VLOOKUP. I don't know if that answers your question. So the answer to your question is that it's tedious to manually copy things and paste into this kind of data set when you're working with a very large data set. One, it's tedious. Number two is that you're likely to make mistakes.
All right,
Number
thank
three,
you.
number three is that you might be really copying a lot of things. Now we are just doing 2 things. So maybe in a database, you want to carry 5 columns from that database into a new one. Do you want to start copying those 5 columns and they're scattered the way this one is? Right? So you appreciate VLOOKUP very well when you're working with a very large data set and you need something to be done very fast. This way we did this thing. Under a minute, we are done with it. So that's the essence of the VLOOKUP functions. It's an advanced function in Excel. So let's do the same thing with does anybody have any other
Oh,
questions?
I think someone's
Yeah,
hand is up.
ma. Yeah, my hand is up. I have a question, ma.
Okay.
Okay, what if what you wanted to the data you want to import, as in that there is no reference points between the two? Is there anything else that you can actually do?
No, it won't work.
It won't work.
Yes, it has to be a reference point. You're telling it, I have this thing in this table, and I also have it in that table. Please fetch for me the data set that is relative to the one I have here. There have to be a reference point between the two sheets. Maybe there has to be a reference point. It's just like when you were doing SQL. I'm sure that you started the SQL classes. You might be working with 3 different data sets. Both of those things have to have a reference point for you to have draw your ERD diagram, entity relationship diagram. I don't know if you reach that point or anything. So correlate them or work between both of them. There has to be a reference point. But they cannot, even if it's one column, there has to be a reference point. So I don't know. Is there another question? Or do we go ahead to demonstrate XLOOKUP? Okay, there's no other question. Let's do the same thing for XLOOKUP. So I'll just delete the things I have here. Consultation. Right? Science department. So XLOOKUP, remember, XLOOKUP is because they usually ask this thing. Somebody can just casually ask, okay, you see you have learned advanced function in Excel, you say yes. And I'll tell you between XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP, which one is the most preferable and why? XLOOKUP is the most preferable. And why is that it solves the limitation that VLOOKUP has, whereby in VLOOKUP, the reference point has to be the leftmost column. You're in column A. But VLOOKUP, that reference point can be anywhere. Does not matter, right? And then there's another lookup function that is called HLOOKUP. We'll not be doing it because that one is horizontal lookup. It picks things horizontally, but it's not needed. So we'll just focus on the most important. XLOOKUP also does the things that HLOOKUP does. So it's doing the function of HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP in one, right? So now we'll do XLOOKUP. We'll come to FX. Our lookup value. So XLOOKUP, before we start, let's explain this part. Lookup value is still that data, that thing you want to look up, the value you want to look up. The lookup array is probably the one you are looking up from, which in our case is this one. Then return array. What do you want to return? If not found, if what you're looking for is not found in your lookup array, what should you return? Then match mode, exact match, which is going to be 0. So we'll go back. In our case, lookup value is still this Dr. Ahmed. Come here. Lookup array is deductor column. Look up deductor column. Return the corresponding consultation fee for each of them, right? And then if not found, tell us NA not available, right? And then match mode 0. Enter. So it's still telling us the Dr. Ahmed is 3,000. You now fill it down, right? So remember, you have to do copy and paste as value to remove this formula beneath it. If not, if you intend to do calculation with this thing, it will not work because of the formula beneath it. I don't know if this demonstration was clear. We'll still do it again for department. So paste as value. Now the formula beneath it is gone. We'll do the same thing for department. XLOOKUP. Pick up this. Then remember, I like to do this FX so that to bring out the table. So lookup is still this Dr. Ahmed. Then lookup array. Remember, if you notice now, this doctor is not the leftmost column here, but it's still working because it allows us to pick them one by one. Then lookup array is still doctor. Return array is the department. No, sorry. Lookup array is doctor. Return array department. Not found. Just tell us NA not available. Then match mode 0. So it tells us that Dr. Ahmed is in the neurology department. So we'll fill down. I know that we know how to do this filling down by now. Then we paste as value. So with that, we're done with the two important functions I want us to know. So we can now go ahead to the next thing for today. Is XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP, is it hard? Is there any question? So there is none. If there is, please unmute your mic and speak. Is anybody raising hand?
Good afternoon, ma. Yes, ma. Good afternoon. Thank you, ma.
Good afternoon.
Ma, I want to ask, in writing of this function, how would one get ourselves conversant in writing of the function? Because for this XLOOKUP that you wrote now, I noticed that you wrote health underscore something and put semicolon.
Okay.
And
no, so you don't need to write this
exclamation mark.
Okay.
So how do we write the function? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So if you notice, I was not typing it. I was just clicking the colons, and it was typing out by itself. So that's what Excel does for you. You don't need to type it. XLOOKUP. You don't even need to type XLOOKUP in full to come out. You double click. Come to this FX. You don't need to type things. What I'm looking for is this column O2. I'll click it. It types by itself, O2. Lookup array. You go to this sheet. Lookup array is this. Just highlight. If you hover on column B, your cursor will change to this. Then just click on it. It types the thing by itself. You don't need to type anything. Come here, the same thing. You're looking for department. Hover on it, click on it. It types by itself. You don't need to type it. It will put the column, everything. Your own, it will put the comma. It's doing it here. O2, comma, Dr. B, Dr. B, then column A. If I click my not found again, it will do it by itself. I'm not typing anything. I just need to like fill in. That's why I like using this FX. Then match mode is 0. Then to fill it for you, then you just drag down, fill down, autofill. Then copy. Then paste as value. Before now, like when I started nearly, I used to do X lookup. And then when it opens like this, I'll now start typing it by myself. You can still do it this way. Then come here, put comma. Go to here, select this, put comma by yourself. Select this, put comma by yourself. Then to tell you if not found, because you have done lookup value, lookup array, return array, it's telling you not found. What do you do? So not found, you type, you enclose it in double quotation mark, NA, put comma. So is this in this scenario that you're typing it out? But I don't think you should just use that FX. Use this FX so that open up that this thing for you. This thing. So it to open it up for you and you just fill things that you want to fill to automatically write the syntax by itself. So it's telling you already, this is the answer you will see the neurology. So that when you click OK, shows, then same thing, fill down, copy, then paste as value. Right? So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we'll move on to pivot table. So now, let's say that I'm working in the what is it called? I'm trying to remember this department in the hospital that is handle folders. I don't remember. So you're working in that department.
Medical records. Medical records.
Exactly. In medical records. So you're working in medical records and every day people come, you are in charge of filling their folders and updating whatever that you update. I don't really know how their things work, but I know that they work a lot with this kind of data sets where people come, schedule appointment, the day they were scheduled, the day that person came, the age, all those data points. And now every day you do it, and at the end of the day, you need to give the management a breakdown of things that happen. You cannot go and carry this data set like this and go and dump for them. It's stress. So part of your work would be to use pivot tables to summarize it. And summarizing it would mean maybe you want to tell them, okay, how many patients came today? You do count of patients, right? You want to say, what is the ratio of female to male gender in attendance? How many people missed their appointments? I think there's a column that, like this column says showed up. So if it's true, it means that the person came for the appointment. If it is false, it means that the person missed the appointment. So I think we've talked about this before, understanding your data set, right? I took my time to read this data set and know what it's talking about. Then this date difference. What's the difference between the date that the person was scheduled and the date that the person came? So this person was scheduled on the 4th of 29th of April. Person attended the same day. So that's why the date difference is 0. This one that is 2. Person was scheduled on 27th. He attended on 29th. So date difference is 2. So you have to read your data set to understand it, right? So that you can be able to answer specific questions that might be required of you. So now, I need pivot table to do some summary. So what I will do, I'll click anywhere, like anywhere in this place, then Control A to highlight everything. Or I'll come here, click, there's something like a small triangle here. I click it to highlight everything for me. So you can do either ways. Then you go to insert. When you go to insert, you're going to be doing both pivot table, and there's another one that's called pivot table and chart. It will allow you to do both pivot table and chart at the same time. But we'll do that one when we come to chart. Let's talk about pivot table first. Now I'll click on pivot table. I don't want to recommend it. I want to do that myself. So you can see, for people that might not know what to do, they will tell you, do you want us to recommend pivot table that summarizes your complex data? Click this button to get a customized set. Assuming I don't know what I want to do, I'll just click this recommended, and it's telling you this one is sum of patients, this one is count of appointments by department, this one is patients by, so you can do things like this. But because I am sure of what I want to do, I want to do by myself, I'll just click on pivot table. And then it's telling you here, this range, table range, is the whole of these things that was highlighted. Now it's telling you, where do you want the pivot table to be placed? Do you want it in this existing sheet where your whole data set is, or new sheet? So you always prefer new sheet, because if you put it here, there's no more space. This one's already crowded. Then choose whether you want to analyze multiple tables. No, you just want to do this one first. Then we'll now click OK to bring up this thing for you. So now there are things, let me explain this part. So these values is always dealing with numbers. Anything you place here, yeah, it means I want to do a numerical calculation, right? So you can, if I put patient ID, even though if I put gender, even though gender is what is it called? Is string. If I put it here, it will automatically do things that are related to numeric calculations. For instance, if I place gender in rows, they tell me that I have just female and male gender. If I put it here, I don't expect it to show the same thing, to do counts for me. They tell me that, oh, females are 70,118 and males are 36,869, right? And the total is this. So you can do many things here. If I click on this drop down, I can do sum, I can do average, I can decide to get the marks, mean, product. No product is multiplication. A lot of things, standard deviation, variance. So you can do a lot of things, but most times what you will likely use is this sum, count, average, mean, and max. So now, this is actually what I want to do, a count of females. I'll leave it that way. So this is a pivot table. So now I cannot tell the stakeholders, oh, the female numbers that came to clinic that have appointments are actually way more than the males. It is clearer for them to know this with pivot table than for them to come here and look at your whole data set as a whole. It's very confusing. How do you want to start counting? Do you want to start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No. But with pivot table, it is easier to do what? To just see at a glance. So just rename it to pivot. Pivot. Right? So now, this is 1. 2, I can decide to come here, put a filter, because I don't want that blank that is showing. Data, filter. Then I'll go to my gender, see what is showing blank. There's no blank here, so why is it showing blank there? Okay, no problem. I can decide to do this. Then let's use another one. Say we want to know how many appointments did each doctor have. Like for each doctor, how many appointments were allocated to them. Instead of doing that insert again, I can just click here, do Control A to highlight everything, Control C to copy it. Then come here, paste it, and then I would change the things I have here. I'll remove this from here, remove this from here, right? It's easier than going back to go and highlight the whole data set, doing insert again. So I want to do doctor by appointment. So go come down, doctor, carry it, put in rows, right? So it tells you that these are the doctors that we have. Now, what do you want to do? You want to know the appointment number. So we'd carry appointment ID, place here. We don't want sum. Why do we not want sum? Because sum is telling us, how do I put it? Some will not give you, it's just summing the whole of appointment that you have. You can notice that all of them have the same value here. So now you need to know what you want. What you want is count. You want to know the count of appointment for each doctor. So I'll do count, right? And now it's telling me that Dr. Ahmed had 21,365. Dr. David this, Dr. Rose this. At the end, it gives you the grand total. You can decide to demonstrate again, right? Come here, put it here, Control V. Now, let's say how many patients attended and how many people missed the appointment. We come here, carry showed. Where's that table that the column of showed up? Put it in rows. Now, you see that true or false. False means that they missed, and true means that they attended it. We still carry the same thing because we want to know the account. So it tells us that 21,000 plus missed the appointment, right? And which is not okay. A larger number me attended, while a lesser number missed the appointment. If I want to do this thing again, I can still do it to have, what's it called? Maybe I want to change it to percentage. You can still change it to become a percentage of what you need. So, how do we? So you can do percentage of grand total, percentage of, so we can now do percentage of grand total. And then we'll click OK. So it's telling us that 20% missed their appointment and 79 showed up. So this is also, it depends on what you want to do, right? If we are doing what is it called, chart representation, then we can leave it like this so that we use pie charts to represent it. We'll still get to that. So that's how you do summary with pivot table. So pivot table is that I want to answer a specific question, and I want at a glance, in numbers, in table format, let them see what we have. We'll use pivot table to do that summary. So after that, you can now decide whether you want to use charts to represent what you have found. Is this part clear? Is it clear or is not clear? Let's do one more.
Please, ma. Yeah, that is what I wanted to say. I want to say should throw more light again so that one will have a better understanding of how this pivot table is being used. Thank you.
Okay. So now this is another example. So remember, you can always do copy the previous pivot table, paste. Or if you don't want to do that,
Please, do you mind, doing it from the? Because I think where I missed it was from that startup. My system had a
okay,
problem. I had to switch to my phone.
no problem. Let's do this one, then we'll do another one. So let's say how many patients belong to each department. To remove this, bring departments. So these are the different departments that we have. I can decide to use this and use count, or I can decide to use that patient's ID. So it will tell me this is the count. In cardiology, there is general medicine, neurology, so that we know what maybe at that, if this is like a peak period, you would know the prevalent disease that is happening right there, which is why that particular department is having more patients. Maybe that's what the insight you want to find out. You can do it. So the last demonstration we want to do, let's say that we want to say what is the average age of patients in each department. The one we did before is the one we did before was department count of patients. So now I want to know the average age of people that come to this different departments or clinics. So now come here. We go to we highlight everything. Come to insert pivot table. Once existing sheet this time around, right? Want existing sheet this time around. So still go to pivots and then come here and put this here, right? And we click OK. So now what we want is department by average age. So we come here, carry department, put in rows, then go to age. And where's the age? Age. Let's go slow. Come here, carry age, put here. Now it's doing sum of age. We don't want sum. We want average age that attend the clinic. Then you can decide to reduce the copy it, paste as value here, and then here. You can decide to now reduce, change it to number, then reduce the make it a whole number, because age is usually a whole number. It is not decimal place. You can see that people that even come to the clinic generally are around 38 years. They are usually 38 years old. So that is the pivot table demonstration that we have for today. Any other question? So we are getting somewhere with all of this. So there's no question. So there's no
I have a
question. The
question.
next one.
Sorry, ma.
Okay.
Sorry. Can you? I'm using a smaller screen now. Can you put your cursor on the pivot? I saw when you click on insert, but forgive me, it's my mistake. I can't see pivot on that menu up there.
Where?
No, we want to put the pivot as one we have. So you click
When
on
we
insert.
like
So
this,
where is pivot here now?
this is pivot.
Okay, okay, the first one. Okay, thank
Yes.
you, ma. Okay, I've seen it. Thank you.
Okay. So now we want to talk about charts. So after all of this thing, you still want to go one step forward to use charts, right? Even though that pivot table gives you summary, charts, you know that humans, we are visually wired. We are attracted to charts, things that we can see more than reading. Somebody wants to look at something at a glance and have a mental note of what you're talking about before coming down to now read deep dive into what you're saying. That is why social media is trending, because we are visually wired. We make videos, it attracts more. The reading rate is reducing because people want to see things that their brains can connect easily with the eyes first. So that is what you want to do. You want to represent all these your findings with charts. Now there are different chart types, which is they are in this. This is where you get all the charts you can think about, right? There is column, there is bar charts, there is pie chart, there's scatter plots, there's maps. But when you have longitude and latitude, that's the coordinates. So we'll focus on the most used charts, and there are like 8 of them, or be 7. We just take it one by one. So the first one is, let's talk about column chart. So let's say that we want to know which doctor had the highest number of appointments. I think we've already done it with this pivot table, right? This is it. This pivot table that we did. So now I'll use pivot charts. Then I'll explain why I use pivot charts to represent it. So if I highlight things here, I'll come to insert to them recommended charts. So the beauty of this Excel is that it recommends something to you. But most times what it recommends is not what you want, so you will not use it. But in this case, it is what I want, so I'll use it. So I'll use this. Now, I don't want this blank to be here because it's not meant to be there, so I'll filter it out. Good. So what we just want is the doctors. There's no need of showing blank there. I don't know if we saw what we did. I just highlighted everything. Still under the insert tab. Went to recommended charts. It's recommended column chart for me, and that's what I want to use. So I picked it. Now, why do I use it? Column chart helps you to represent things when you are comparing quantities across different categories. So now you're comparing things across different doctors. You want to see the work rates, like how many patients, how do they say it? Doctor to patient ratio, right? Doctor to patient ratio of the for this particular data set that we're working with. So you want to know from this thing now, you can see that at a glance that Dr. Grace attended to the least patients or has the least patients. The person that has the highest is probably Dr. James with 21,566, followed by Dr. Ahmed with 21,366. Now, the way this thing is okay. It's okay. But assuming you want to make it better, you can now tweak things, like customize a lot of things. First of all, I want to remove this thing. I'll hide all field buttons. Number 1. Number 2, I'll click on this plus. Can play around these things. Let's explore them. Let's say we click on remove this axis. It will remove both the things that we have here and here, which is not what we want, because we want to see the names of the things we are comparing. Dr. Ahmed, Dr. James, Dr. Grace, and all of that. We can remove this one later, right? Then let's say that we add axis title. We want to add it. So you can now come here and say, put the description. Where you say, what is it called? Let's say this one's a doctors. We're still going to remove this part, so there's no need of renaming it. Now, we are still exploring the different things you can do to make your chart look better. And if I remove this chart title, it removes it, but I want it to be there because what we want is what? Count doctor to patient ratio, doctor to patient ratio. Right? Can still come to home, make it bold, change the color if I want. Can do anything you want, basically. So let's say we want we don't want, so I don't really want this, but I just want to like demonstrate that you can do some formatting at that point. Then still go back, click on this plus data labels. So the data labels are these things, and I prefer to have these ones than this one because having the data labels on them easily tells me things to know than having this part here. So I'll just delete this one. You have that one and have data labels. You're just repeating things, making your chart to cluster. You're just making it noisy. So you just chose one. Then I can remove this. This is a legend. I'll remove it because I don't need it. So this is looking like something that we might need, that we like. Still delete that one. Gone. So some people like to remove the grid lines. Grid lines are these lines in between. So you can check it up here, right? If this was a scatter plot, we put a trend line to see what happens. But we don't need this trend line. So the way it is now, I think I'm okay with this. Or I can still go further to change the color of this bars. So I'll go to design, change color. Let's say I want them to be red. Is that it? That's not the okay. I want it to be red, so or any color you want. Make it purple, anything at all. So the color you put is most likely to align with the color you want to use for your dashboard. For example, if you're working for MTN, you know that MTN, their color is what? Yellow and black, I think, right? So your charts, you want to make your chart to align to them. If you're working in HIV clinic, you know that when you're talking about viral load and when it's high, you're likely to use red because people that have high viral load are susceptible to what is it called? The virus bringing them down. Their immune system is low. Then those that have lower viral loads or TND, not detectable, is good. So you might use green. So the colors you use is dependent on what you're trying to achieve. At this point, I'm not really trying to achieve anything, so I can leave it at purple. When we start doing our dashboard and our team of color is blue, I can come back to change this color to blue. So let's leave it the way it is. But the way it is now is good. I'll cut it. I'll do Ctrl X. Come here. Paste it. Big. Then I'll rename this sheet as chart. Right? Good. So that is how you keep representing your pivot summary into charts. So now remember when we started pivot table, I told us that there's something like pivot charts too, where you can just select everything here, go straight to insert, go to pivot chart itself. Where is the pivot chart? This. It tells you, do you want pivot chart or pivot chart and table? So you can do the both at the same time. This I just want pivot chart. It tells you this is this. I want the existing worksheet. The location, I'll come here to my chart. I want it to be placed here. I'll click OK. Then that tells you, okay, what do you want to do? So let's say the chart that we want to do is let's say we want another categorical column chart we want to do for more example. We want to do department, doctor by department. Will that work? Or we can do the count of people in each department. So we do department here. Then want to see the count of people in each department. So it's already counts. Now you still have it. So you can still do your formatting. So now it gives you both the pivot table and the pivot chart at the same time. That's if it's what you want to do. Right? So now I don't want this pivot table to be here, so I'll just delete it.
I'll be your daddy now.
So delete. And once I delete it, I have this. Once I delete it, it doesn't have things to work with again. So it's basically the way, like everything is now the same. So let's just we don't need it. But I just wanted to show us pivot chart. So the next chart we want to use is bar chart. Bar chart is the same thing that with column chart. The difference is that sometimes when we want to represent things, their description here is usually long. I want to bring this thing out. The description here is usually long, and it will spill so much that you can't see it, so you use bar chart. Column chart is vertical, bar chart is horizontal. Let's do some demonstration. So let's say for bar chart that we want to do which department has most appointments. We'll come to pivot, go to department. We said department that has more appointments, right? I think this is it. You tie it down, remove this blank because we don't need it. Click OK, right? And highlight what we have here. Put insert. To tell you recommended chart. Still recommended column chart for us, but we don't want to use column chart. We want to use bar chart this time around. So this is your bar chart. So you can cut it. Come to chart, paste, and then I'll format it. So bar chart and column chart are basically the same thing. They are comparing categories, quantities in belonging to different categories of things, but then or persons. But then column chart is giving you things in vertical format, while bar chart is giving you in horizontal format. Bar chart will contain more categories and do not look noise in the eyes, unlike column chart. Column chart is ideal when you're dealing with lesser quantities, like maybe from 2 to 6. But when you have things like up to 10, you can use bar chart and you still comfortably see things. And then their descriptions will show here clearly. So let's format. So you can hide all three buttons. I want to delete this because I want to enable data labels. Delete this one. Uncheck the green lines. Then we would rename this thing to what? Department, appointment, department. Then I'll come to home and keyboard. Okay, so I think that's what we want to do for it. Is there another thing? No. You might want to change the color, but let's leave it. You can also increase the width of this. Maybe it's too thin or it's too slim. You can increase it. You can do format data series. Come here. So maybe you want to increase. No, that's not. Okay, this is it. Gap. Okay, this gap is the gap between each one. Let's reduce. Seems not important. This one is to change the color. This one is to add border. I want to increase the width. It's meant to be here. Okay. Let's say this. No. Seems this is not working. It's not working as I want it to. But this should be it. Increase the width or reducing it, making it more tiny or making it more fat. Right? So let's leave it in the middle. So we want it to be the way it is here. I think this is okay. So a lot of things, you won't learn everything in one day about how to. This is when you are working with things and you do more practice. Then even this your data labels, you can still do what? You can still, what's it called? Format them, right? I can still change their color. Maybe I want it to have color. I can change it. I change it to have this. If you want it to have border. Well, I don't want all these things. So did you feel? So the thing with this whole thing is that you have to practice and play with it. And then when you are working, I know what you want to do. Even this our chat, I can right click and still format chat area. Then come and add it. What is it called? Add what is it called? Shadow at the back to make it look like a 3D. Let's say I want to use something like this. You see you see that this is now different from what we have it. So that's why if you go on LinkedIn and you see people having different dashboard that is so beautiful, they took their time, they played around with a lot of things, right? You can go and you can log on to LinkedIn now and type chat dashboard, Excel dashboard, or data analytics dashboard. You see beautiful dashboards. So before they were able to get that thing you were seeing, they had to play around a lot. Like this, the way this is more beautiful than the way this one just plain, right? So it just takes time to arrange a lot of things, and we don't really have that time to do all of them here. But I just want to show that you can do a lot of things when you are created your charts. You can format them anyhow you want to. Then the next chart we want to talk about. We want to talk about pie chart. So pie chart, people misuse pie chart a lot. There's this book, Data Storytelling. I think I've introduced this book before. So if you read that book, the author was seriously passionate against. In fact, she was of the opinion that you should not use pie chart at all. Anything you want to do, there's no end up using pie chart. But then pie chart is usually used when you are creating KPIs. For instance, let's say okay, why is loading? Let's let's do dashboard so that we'll see what the dashboard looks like. So this is it. Let's say we're working with this. So all these things are KPI. This is a pie chart, but this is a donut chart. It's a pie chart that has a hole in the middle, right? This is also a pie chart that has a hole in the middle. So people usually use it just for KPIs. KPIs is key performance indicators. We'll still get to that point. I just want to show us that most times what you use pie chart for, you use it for ideally when you're representing parts of a whole, and what you are representing should not be more than 5. If it becomes more than 5, it looks very clustered, like what you have here. This is not ideal. This one has up to 10. It's not good. So what you can do here is to represent this in the bar chart. Once it's more than 5, and you want to represent, please use bar chart, right? Just like what these people did here too. This is not readable. It becomes ineligible when it's clustered a lot. So ideally, a pie chart is, this thing that is orange, like you buy orange from the market, you just slice it highest five parts is okay. Once it's more than 5, between 2 to 5 is okay. Because when it's 1 is whole, when it's 2 is half, when it's 3, you know how to divide them. So the rule of thumb, precaution for pie charts, that you should not I'm trying to remember this guy's name that's good with Excel for health data analytics. I cannot remember. But it's a video. So these are the different things that people do. This is also a video. Just want picture. Okay, let's use video. It's a video. They're mostly videos, but you can see like what I mean. So for this person to come up with this idea, what he's doing here is slicer. I'm still going to do slicer. This one is the KPIs. So slicer helps it to be dynamic. If you select some things to show some things, you remove others. This is a bar chart. This one is a donut chart, but it was customized, right? So this is a line chart. This is a line chart. You're still getting to line chart. So these are the most frequently used charts. The KPIs, bar charts, pie chart, line chart, bar charts, and column charts. So let's go back to what we're doing. Just let's show us that can go. This was done with Power BI, I said, not Excel. But Excel can do this. So let's get back to business. So let's demonstrate one more so that we can go forward to KPIs because we are mindful of our time. So the next one we want to do, we've not demonstrated pie chart. So now let's represent this with pie charts because it's just two. Insert recommended. Excel recommended column chart for us. No, we want pie charts. So this is what we want. So we now say attended versus missed appointments. Please, when you're doing your title, please give it a title that somebody can easily understand the meaning. Can decide to change the color. So people that attended, the color is okay. For missed, I can change the color to just red because it's not good that you miss your appointment. So let's put them red, right? So do Control C or Control X to cut it and put it in our chart. Then place it here. Remember, you can reduce the size if you think it's too big, or increase it if you think it's too small. Anything at all. Okay, so we'll use another one to represent donut chart. Donut chart looks more fancy than pie chart. That's why most people use donut chart because it's fancier. People like things that are fancy, but both of them are sharing the same information. And then with donut charts, you can write something in the middle. For instance, let's do let's say that we want to represent another thing like what do we use? Scholarship versus no scholarship, or what proportion attended the appointment. We've done that one. Let's do male versus female. Here. I want to use donut charts. So I'll hide all flip buttons. So it's telling me now that this is the legend. So legend is to give you description of the parts of what you're doing. Blue is female. This is red. Is male, right? Then is there another thing we want to do? Is there another thing we want to do? It's okay like this. We want to increase this thing. You can click on it, right click, format, come here, increase donut size. You can see it's increasing. The space in between is increasing. So if you want it to be more fat, can do it this way. Then donut explosion. Let's see what happens. Separate them. You don't want that. So you can just like what we said before, you can play around with a lot of things, right? So let's just cut it. And then put it here. Let's say that maybe we want to actually want the data labels to show. So we can make it like this. Male 34%, female this, and it's more explanatory than what we have here. So you can delete this and leave it this way. Right? If you don't want it this way, you can still do more options. There's supposed to be more options, but let's leave it at this. Right? Then you can this format chart area. Let's say you want it to have shadow. You can do it this way. Right? We can do this, do this, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. Anyhow you want to do it. So let's leave it this way. We click on this thing. You want the color to be safe. Any color. Anything you want to do, you can do it. Let's just make it good. And then delete this part. Right? This is not looking good. So let's change it. So if you come here, you want to share value and percentage at the same time. You can still do it. Remove the category name. So it will just be this thing. In that case, we would introduce our legend. This one, reduce it. I think we should let's just create charts. When we get to dashboarding, we can do all this formatting, right? So we'll not get confused. So the main thing about chart is you want to do something and then you know the type of chart you want to use. Why do you want to use that chart at that point? We've covered donut charts. Donut chart and pie chart are doing the same thing. Just that donut chart has this space in the middle that I can do insert text box and then write something in the middle here. But with pie chart, you cannot read it. So donut chart is like it's more fancy to do things, to work around, make your chart more fancy and all of that. Then this, you can decide to remove this or just show it. I don't want to use this data call out. Category name now. Outline. I want to remove this field. I just want it to be numbers and then give them color. So what really wastes time in dashboarding is your formatting. You want to do a lot of things that will make it fancy and look really nice. So you need to take your time and do a lot of customization, right? Somebody wanted to speak. I don't know if there's any questions so far before we continue. Any question? There's no question. Okay. So let's continue. Our chat title is not here. So you can rename this. Okay. So we have this. Then the next chat we want to talk about line charts. So you use line charts when you're talking about trend over time. Anytime you're doing anything that is related to time, whether it is hour, minutes, seconds, day, week, month, anything that is time bound, use line charts for it. For instance, let's say I want to do appointments. How did the appointment change over time? Right? So can come here. Let's see, we don't have it, so let's do pivot table for it. Insert pivot table. Existing sheet. Go to our pivots. Want to add it here. Click OK. Then want to do what? Want to see gender over time. So we do appointment day. And then we want to see how they changed. So we can still do the same appointment day. Put it a value and do counts. So to tell you that, okay, in April you had this. If you do this plus, open it up more. Just in April, it's just 1. Then in May, then open up June. So these are things you have, right? Then select it, put insert. Let's see what to recommend. So it recommended this, but this is not, we cannot infer any meaning when it's clustered column. Like it's hard to read like this. But when you use a line chart, you see that it is easier for us to read it, right? So we'll learn how to interpret it now. So now you can see that how did the appointment go on 14th May. Maybe that day is public holiday, so it dipped. Like many people were not didn't come for appointment that day. They weren't even scheduled in the first place, maybe, right? So the good thing about this thing is that you can do 2 things at a time. You can still carry scheduled put here. Right? You can still put scheduled here. Then come here. So it's telling us so let's delete this chart. Let's insert. So I want to show us something. Insert chart, want line. So if you go with the recommended, you might not really get it. That's why I see a lot of people using this thing for something that would have fitted line charts more. So you want to see trend over time. Click OK. Still not giving me what I want. I want to be able to filter. This value is meant to have a filter button, so I can just choose appointment day to show me, scheduled day to show me, or to show me 2 lines where orange is scheduled day and blue is appointment day, but this blue is not showing. I wonder what is the problem. So usually you can even have three lines in one chart. So you now have to start comparing between the lines. The people schedule appointment the day they will come, or they scheduled it ahead, something like that. But since it's not showing, let's work with what we have here. So I'll just remove it. So what we have here is now is this. So it's showing us how scheduling, how appointment has been since April 29 till June. So April 29, when something goes from here to here, it means that it went up, right? And then it was stable. And then it went down, went up. So from here, can you really say that there is a peak period or a time when people usually come for appointments or when people don't come? So they can say that on May 14th, people don't usually come for appointment. Maybe there's something happening on May 14th that made people not to come or book the appointment on May 14th. And then it goes up like very high because it went down to zero and then went up very high the next day. Of course, if there was public holiday, the next day that hospital is going to open, the attendance will be very high. And then it continues that way, maybe throughout that week. The next weekend, the next week it reduced and then it went up again. So this one, it's not really stable. You can't really infer much from here. The only thing you know that really happened is that on May 14th, patients don't really come. The appointment was very low, zero. In fact, there was no appointment for May 14th. And then the next week was a very busy week for the hospital. So whenever you are trying to show what happened, trend over time, you use your line chart, right? You use your line chart to display trend over time, whether it's week, whether it's hourly, like hourly, second, or anything. Year, month. If you come here and you decide to this up to December, I want to see if this plus sign works. It's supposed to work. So now on this plus sign, I'm trying to break it down further. So you can see April, May, June. Let's see. It can go further. So this is the highest it can go up to August 2016. It's trying to show you the trend. Then if I do this minus, I just want to show just months. April, May, June. It's not really inferring much here. So what makes more sense is when you break it down. So now you're seeing that this is the trend between the days. So this one is daily appointments. So you can now do this. Just hide this one. You can leave these ones for filtering purpose. Then rename it. Appointments. The trend. Make it bold. It's okay like this. Then we can cut it. Go to our chart, paste it. All this thing we are pasting here, we use it to create our dashboard later on. So now, we have like, I'm trying to check how many minutes we have so that would work with time. Although we are almost rounding up. Okay. So now the next one we are doing is scatter plot. So you use scatter plot when you're trying to show relationship between things. Is it when when there's scholarship, there is more appointments. The relationship between giving discount. I believe the scholarship they mean is maybe discounted rate of tests. You have more appointment during that period. So you want to show, is there a relationship between age and hypertension? Is there a relationship between age and diabetes? So now, scatter plot does not really do well with pivot table. So if you want to do scatter plot, you would have to do it directly from here. So let's say select these two things, and then we'll do insert. I want to do scatter plot for it. It's not, the data set is not meaningful. Let's use another, and it works well with numeric data too. Scatter plot works well with numeric data. So let's do age versus the date difference. So say, does age affect the waiting time for people's appointments? That means maybe the elderly people, the waiting time is close to 0. Schedule them the same data to come for. So we'll just pick this, hold my control shift key, this, then I'll do this. It is even schedule this further. Oh, and then let's use 5. I want it to be more spread out. 5. See what happens. So that we'll be able to read it, because from here you can't really infer much here. It's not telling us much information. It's even more clustered. So the thing is that it's not all data sets that requires all these charts. Maybe this particular data set is not suited for scatter plots. That is why you cannot read any meaning. But then if we do a pivot table between age and the average, so let's do something. Select all, go to insert pivot table. We want it in existing sheets. We want it here. So let's say we want it here. So click OK. So let's say that we put age versus age. Then date difference or consultation fee, anyone. Then we'll do average. Then we copy, because scatter plot does not do well with pivot table. You have to copy it and paste as well. Copy it, come here, paste it as well, and then you can now insert. We want to see if we can make more meaning to it from it. Okay. So the only thing we can do here is that, can infer from here is that average fee of consultation. Consultation ranges from just close to 20,000, right? That's where we have most cluster. which is this cluster here. Now, there are outliers. Remember, we treated outliers. This point here is so different from the rest. This point here is so different from the rest. So these 2 points are outliers. They came down all the way to 12,000. This one is 17,000. Meanwhile, the things we're having here, this point is around 21K, right? So that's what you can infer, that the average fee of consultation by age is from 20,000 plus. Then for those who are 100, because this is age, this down part is our age, the x-axis, while the y-axis is the consultation fee itself. So we can say that from 0 to people around 90 something, because if you look this thing down to here, it's around 90 something years. So those that were 100 and above, they are the outliers because their consultation fee came down. Maybe they were giving discount or something. So they are outliers. They give more preference to elderly people. And that is why their consultation fee came down at this point. Or it could be a typographical error. It's left for you to find out and ask the stakeholders. So that's what like scatter plot does. So we've established 2 facts. Scatter plot does not really do well with pivot tables. So even if you use pivot table, you have to copy it and paste that value and then use insert your pivot your scatter plot, or you do it directly from the chart itself, from the data set itself. Right? After that, we go into dashboarding. Any question? Any questions so far? Those are the most frequently used chart types. So there's no question. Okay, before we go into dashboard, let's do some refresher. When do we use column charts? What's different between column charts and bar charts? Anyone?
Column chart is horizontal, bar chart is vertical.
Okay, so when do we use them? What's their use case?
Okay, for me, column charts is actually used when the items to be compared are not much, while that of bar charts is when it involves so many items to compare in quantities.
Okay, so that's down to use. Oh, that's down to here. You are comparing quantities across categories of persons or things. Now, both of them are doing the same job. So column chart is when you have fewer categories. The bar chart, you have a lot of things. Or even if you don't have a lot of things, the naming is so long that if you use column chart to spill out from the chart. So in that case, you can use what? A bar chart, so that it will show the naming properly. That's good. What about pie charts? When do we use it and what is the need for pie charts? Anyone?
We
It's
use it when the
to
values are less
compare.
than 5.
Sorry, come again.
Okay, I said we use it when the values we're trying to show is less than 5, or maximum of 5. And of course, it
Yes,
gives a
exactly.
face value of a proportion of things.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, thank you. Uh, what about line charts? Anyone?
Line chart, we use it for things that changes with time, or when there's a change, something that has, so we'll be able to see how the change is going, whether it's increasing or decreasing or yeah, this.
That's good. So let's go into putting all of these things into the dashboard. All right. So to do a dashboard, first of all, what we do is I have to prepare the, what do I call it? This, the background. So I'll go to view. I like to turn off the grid lines. I like to turn off formula bar so that to have more space. Sometimes when you're done with everything, you can turn off your heading. So that this is what you have. And at the end, you can still do this thing. You can decide to hide quick access bar. You can decide to do this, right? Now you have more space to do a lot of things that you want to do. So the first thing we want to do is we want to bring out our KPIs, the key performance indicators, total appointments, patients attended, patient missed, all of those things. Those are the key performance indicators, so that at a glance they can know. So we'll do insert. Let's insert a shape. So this shape, this one can be for, we'll leave a space here because we're going to add our, what's it called? Can decide to fill. So because we are dealing with hospital data, let's use blue. This should be okay. So if we use blue, related colors to blue can be red, dark blue, white, yeah, something like this. It's okay. So outline, don't want it to have any outline. I just want it to be like this. Still, for my shape, I want it to have this, just so that to have this 3D feel, right? And here, yeah. So this is very good. So we'll come here and do, what's it called? Total appointment. Under here, we'll do equal to count. Count here. So this counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So we are not interested in the blank cells if there is any, right? So that's why we're using count all. Then I want to count everything in column A. Cover it. Count all. Close. So first of all, let's check the data type. Is a number. Now let's add filter. So I want to check whether there's, what is it called? Blank cells. There is none. So we can use count. I can just use ordinary count since there is no blank cell. Try one or more circular references where a formula refers to its own cell directly. Oh, okay. I get why. So the reason is that, let's delete it. We should do it elsewhere because we are doing the same calculation from here to here, or we should select the specific cells. So if we do count all, what I can do is that I can come to this and I'll do Control Shift down. So it will stop at this. So the reason why it was throwing up that error, we were selecting the whole column when we are still performing calculation on the whole column. So if you read the error message, I think you should be able to understand. Or you can just copy it and paste on what's the code? Paste it online to show you how to go about it. But that was a very simple error. So now I can just copy this, paste as value, remember. Then I'll copy it. Come back to our dashboard. Where's the dashboard? Insert a text box. Here. Control V. So some people go as far as going online, downloading icons of patients, icons that represent patients, right? Make it bold. What else? Do I want it to have field? Format shape. Is this okay? You can format it better or reduce the shape angle. Not the shape angle, the edge. No, not this. So that's why I say, like, for this thing, you need to like calm down. If you really want to make a very beautiful dashboard, then you will calm down and customize your charts the way you want it to, right? So this is for total number of appointments. You can just insert another text box. Okay. This one will have to have no field, to have no outline, just one text. Total appointments. So you still format it, make it bigger. So let's say we have 18. Then make it bold. Change the color to maybe red. So like I said, you might want to make it stand out by going online to get, what is it called, a picture that represents appointment. Place it somewhere here to look really nice. Insert picture here that shows appointment, maybe a book or something that shows appointment. Put it there to look nice. So this one KPI that somebody will just look at here and know, oh, this data appointment, very easy. Can still put this, right? No, it's not meant to be there. So this is what you have for now. So another KPI you might want to do is what your patients. So out of these people that have this appointment, how many people attended and how many people missed? Might also want to show that. See, KPI. So let's say we duplicate this, Control D, and put it here. Same thing, duplicate this, Control D. What you just need to do is to change them. Control D again. Control D. So we just need to change their values. This one will be attended appointments. This one is missed. So you already know how to get it. Count for those that have appointments and count for those, then align them. So these are the KPI cards. So you can have as many KPI cards as you want with different colors, different customizations, and everything. Then come to your charts, pick them. This, hold your sheet, pick this, pick this, pick this, pick this. See another one. This, this. Copy them, come to my dashboard, then paste everything. Then start arranging them the way you want. So the essence of a dashboard is that at a glance, they will see everything you have in one page. But if they want to now see deeper insights, they can now start clicking the different sheets to understand better. Okay, so we have this. We need to make space here for slicers. I want us to add slicer just to control some of these things. So let's shift them a bit. Or before we continue, let's insert slicers. So you can go to slicers, insert, come here, check for slicer. So what do you want to use to control them? Is it gender? Is it age? Is it alcoholism? Like, what do you want to use in controlling them? You want to use department, number one. You also want to view them by their gender. What happens? You also want to use doctors, right? So let's work with these three. It shows us. Come here. What connections? We select all pivot tables. So it would check for these two. So there's slicers. What slicers does is that maybe you want to view for a particular set of things across all charts. That's what slicer will help you to do. It slices things. You select what connections, pivot table. So that's why I need to report all the pivot tables you have so that to control everything. If I come here now and I click for just cardiology, you will see that it changed this thing to just, it is Dr. James that works in cardiology, and this is what happened. If I change it to general medicine, it changes to Dr. Grace. And the same thing will happen to all the charts. It's changing them according to the selection I did here. So that's what slicer does for you. So let's add this place. They're still going to format these slicers. You're basically done with everything you want to do. The only thing we need to do now is to format them to read, to look nice, the way all to your taste. And that's the data storytelling. So this, then the last one, and bring this, and have it here. Female. You want to view by female, what happens? You want to show male, what happens? So the number of people that Dr. Ahmed saw that are males are this. So these are the male patients, the counts. These are the female. So you can see that that's what slider does for you. And if you want to remove your filters, you can clear it from there. So let's finish up with the rest and bring this one here. Okay. This, 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 right? Then we have this, and we have this two at the bottom. So it's looking like something that we should work with. So the only thing remaining is, formatting the whole thing, giving it the colors we want to, putting shadows underneath if we want to. It's all dependent on your taste. But it's always good that you have a really nice dashboard because that's the first thing people see. They don't really know all the hard work that has gone behind the scene. Your dashboard is the first thing they will likely see. So you make sure that things are aligned. That's if you want to showcase it as your personal project that you would link to your CV or something like that. Or if there's a template in where you're working, you can easily follow that template. So the same goes with this. So let's add border or shadow. This same thing with this. Bring it down more. Right? Then for this part, and then this part, this one, add the shadows to them too. So while we are doing this, if there's any question, we can entertain questions now while we are finished doing the finishing touches to this. Any questions so far? Do we have questions?
Okay, my question is, like by the time you use this like these slicers, assuming I clicked on gender, and of course it's not showing me the doctor to patient ratio according to maybe say female. When I'm
Yes.
done looking at it, how do I return it to be showing the whole thing, like showing the total?
Just click it. See this red. Twitter.
Okay,
Cancel. Goes back.
okay, all right, thank you. And then my next question is, this page where we are now is an Excel sheet that we remove, and it became like a whiteboard.
Yes, sir. Went to view. We went to view and then we unchecked this part. Grid lines, formula bar, headings. Those are the things we unchecked.
Okay.
You can even change the color of this your background. So if I click there and select everything, I'll go to home.
So how did you select everything now?
I just click there and did Control A.
Okay,
Click it
Control A. All right.
not on the chart that's here.
Okay.
Control A.
Okay.
Then go to your home. If you want your background color to be blue, want it to be black, but change it.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
So it depends on what you want actually. Let me make it harsh. So I can leave it to be white. Anyone? Is there any other question?
Hello, thank you very much. My question is, if you are working every month and you are actually inputting your data, would you have to be preparing the dashboard every time, or there's the way you can save the templates that subsequently you don't need to go through this stress, and once you just change the value, it will appear on your dashboard for the other months after copying?
Oh, okay. Yes, there is. There's a way to save the templates. So, but then you won't really have that in Excel. So that's why most people do use Power BI. So that if you're working with real-time data, because in Excel you have to create the charts from afresh, right? The only thing in Excel might change fast. Maybe you come here and add more data from below. But if it's a different set of data and you want to create the same thing, you need to create new charts. So Excel is not as dynamic as you would see in Power BI.
Please, what did you call the one that you said is dynamic? I didn't get the name.
Power BI.
Sorry?
Power BI.
All right, thank you.
Then, so most times people would also go ahead. So let's say we want to save this Excel and we want to have the template. It's in the newer version, right? I want to save it. Let me see if my version has it. Excel docs. I don't have it. So you might see it if you are using Excel 365 or 2023 Excel. I think my Excel is 2019. So if your Excel allows you to save in a version that ends with .x, LTX, like PowerPoint, you know the way PowerPoint is PPT, X. So Excel is XLTX. Then it can save as a template that you can use. Build your dashboard, save it. Then the next time you open it, it creates a new workbook and leave your original templates untouched. Apart from that, you just use what is it called? Power BI, because Excel does not automatically update your chart with your new data. Can't really do that. Is there another question?
But of course, we can save this one.
Yes, you can.
All right.
You can save it. But what she asked is that I don't know if you're going to. If I have
Yes, I heard that. I'm just saying, I know, like, if we don't have that option, we can still save today's one, and maybe next
yes,
month we have to probably look at it, remember the things we did, and have to redo it all over again.
yes, that's the only way to do about it.
All right.
So that comes to the end of Excel. There are many things. There are more to Excel, right? So what we are doing, we are not going advanced. Things we've covered are between beginner, intermediate, and then the lookup functions are actually advanced functions. So there are other things like macro in Excel. There are other things like many other things you can do. And then as AI is in vogue now, there are AI functions like Copilot, and many things that have been built into Excel 365 if you're using it, the licensed version. So you cannot cover Excel extensively, but what we have covered so far is enough for you to do your data analysis, whether through dashboard that you can include in your CV, analyze your data set if you want to use Excel for research work, and a lot of other things that you can do. So I think we've covered extensively a lot. There's still Power Query in Excel, but that's more advanced function. Power Query, where you have to cleanse your data set in another tab, then bring it into Excel to start working into it. But that's like another more advanced functions. But what we covered so far has covered the beginner stage. So at the end of this class, I'm not more a beginner in Excel, but you have an edge over people who call themselves intermediates because you know some advanced functions, right? The only thing that is required from you is to do more practice. You can go on YouTube, follow through tutorials, build your own dashboard, and then scale up from there. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. It was a beautiful class.